אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי, טהורה.
I think maybe I clicked it, then touched it, and then clicked it off.
Uh-oh.
And then I published it.
From there.
Well, when it was done, I had a 4-second clip.
Oh, no.
And people were emailing back and saying, well, that was a mysterious, that was a mystical one.
Yeah.
It's like I think I say something and then you see my finger or something.
Oh, no.
Like,
what did he mean? What was the meaning of that?
It's very deep.
Right.
Good morning, everybody out there in cyberspace, our cyber yeshiva. We decided that Wednesday morning is going to be our regular morning now. So for those of you out there who want to join us live, it's going to be, I can't say exactly, but around 9-ish, 8:45, 9, every Wednesday morning. That's going to be now our routine. We'll try that. This is, we haven't done this before, but, for those of us who want to be regular and be able to count on this dose of Torah vitamins in your life. We're going to take these vitamins regularly because that brings good health for the neshama. So the vitamins of the Slonimer, and again we're with Netivot Shalom, the Slonimer on Parshat Bo, and the piece that we're going to look at today is on page Ayin Gimel, which is 73, adds up to 10, which is a nice, it's a nice round-up number there. So, Netei yadcha al hashamayim vayehi choshech. So this is the pasuk that says, I guess, reach your hand above the heavens, and there shall be darkness. And the question is, what's that darkness? This is what we're going to explore here today. The depth of the darkness. My dear friend and colleague, we're writing a book about the spirituality of darkness, because typically we talk about the spirituality of light. And what is makat choshech? What is the plague of darkness? The plague before last. And it says in the Torah that 3 days it was such a thick darkness that nobody could move, nobody could go anywhere. There was something about that darkness that qualitatively differently. And so the pasuk in the Chumash here in Parshat Bo, and God says to Moses, reach your hand above the heavens, and let there be darkness upon the land of Egypt. Ita b'midrash. Now it says in the Midrash, Shmot Rabbah, Me'chan haya choshech hahu. Where did this darkness come from? Rabbi Yehuda omer michoshech shel mala. So Rabbi Yehuda says this darkness came from above, from the heavens.
A heavenly darkness.
Yeah, the heavenly darkness, right? So, Perusha She'era me'ayin haya choshech hahu. So the Slonimer is going to clarify, what does this question mean? When the Midrash says, where was that darkness from? So he says, the choshech ze kemuva b'mefarshim היה מציאות עצמית של חושך ולא רק היעדר אור. He says the commentators, the sages tell us this darkness was its own entity. It has its own existence. It was not just the absence of light, as we experience in our ordinary world, in life as we know it. What's darkness? The cloud covers the sun. That's darkness. Or the sun, goes on the other side of the world. That's darkness. He says that was not that kind of darkness. It was a darkness that has its own substance. Right? It was its own darkness. And this is what the Midrash is asking. Where did this substance of darkness come from? And so the answer is from the higher realms, right? From on high. מעלה. היינו שהקדוש ברוך הוא ציווה את משה שימשיך על מצרים את החושך של מעלה. In other words, the Holy One is telling Moses, extend that darkness from above, that substance, onto Egypt. So this is how they're reading that verse. ולכאורה אינו מובן מהו חושך של מעלה. But he asks, what does it mean, darkness from above? הרי למעלה הכל אור. Don't we say that the above is all light? You know, when you come the above as of the spiritual, right? The higher, right? The higher realms, it's all light. How can you say that there's darkness above, right? ואם יש כן למעלה מציאות של חושך לקדושה. But if you could say that there is on high a reality and existence of holy darkness, ומה זכו המצרים שימשיכו חושך זה עליהם? How did the Egyptians merit that this holy darkness would be extended onto them? You know. Okay, so he's framing the question, right? It's an interesting question. There's two questions here, really.
Right. What is the nature of holy darkness? And if there is such a thing called holy darkness, why did the Egyptians merit receiving that gift?
That's right. Because the idea was to punish them, right? The idea was to give them something,
right,
something that's not from holiness, right? Yeah. So Dehine. So now he's going to explain it, and yeah, let's just keep going with him. So now, by the way, for those of you who are following in the book, I'm skipping a little bit, so please forgive me. We're skipping ahead to the middle of the next paragraph. Just do your best to to keep with us. So, the middle of the next paragraph. Dehine כשמכניסים רשע לגן עדן, מקום שצדיקים יושבים ועטותיהם בראשיהם ונהנים מזיו השכינה. He says, consider that when you take an evil person, a lowly person, and put them in heaven, literally the Garden of Eden, but you put them in the heavens, a place where the righteous are sitting with their crowns on their heads and are blissfully enjoying the brightness, right, the illumination of the Shekhinah, of the Holy One. Avuro ze choshech. For this lowly person, that experience of being in heaven is darkness. Because it's the greatest suffering for them to be in such a place. Because a person like that has never experienced in their lifetime a spiritual light. Because their whole life was focused on being attracted, drawn to the pleasures of the more dense reality, of materiality, of the lower worlds. So you see, it's like it's a relative thing, right? You don't have to, what would be a blessing to one could be a curse for someone else.
Someone schleps you to the Museum of Modern Art. They take you to a certain exhibition of a famous artist, and people are standing there looking at these paintings, woo and ah, just really, wow, it's blowing them away. But a guy who hasn't been sensitized, or maybe didn't have the opportunity to grow up in an environment where he developed an understanding and appreciation of this type of art. So he's going to go, what is this? Get me out of this place. Exactly. I don't even know what this is. This is gross.
I'm bored.
I'm bored. This is disgusting. What are you looking at? What do you see in that?
Yeah.
So this is if a desensitized person who hasn't worked on himself his entire life, and then so Gan Eden becomes like a place where what's I don't get it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I like the word desensitized. It's a matter of sensitization, right? It's a matter of some kind of inner development of an inner capacity to perceive here.
Right.
So I like that. So a person, and if so this is talking about spiritual practice, spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, building building one's spiritual muscle. We'll get there, but just to say that the Mitzrim are the again the paradigm of living at the lower vibrational level, living at the world of material, the world of, so it's a narrow, limited, so the base level of human experience and human sensitivity, right? So this is the whole,
Constrict, as we said last week, the very word Mitzrayim comes from the word constricted consciousness. Meitzar.
Yeah.
So they were living, this civilization of Egypt represents constricted consciousness.
Yeah. What's that substance of the darkness? It's like it doesn't take much. It's not so much maybe about the substance of the darkness. We'll see where he goes. It gets a little more complicated, but a little more elaborate than that. But just for a person who's not prepared,
not prepared.
That's enough. You meet the light, and the light itself is already the darkness. Because it's not pleasing.
Like
to
a
you.
blinding light.
Yeah, it's a blinding light.
Like a blinding light. Don't look at the sun, unless you have these special glasses.
Yeah. And
there's a certain type of whatever going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So the work of our life is to build for ourselves these special glasses.
Yeah. So כך ציווה הקדוש ברוך הוא למשה שימשיך את אור עליון. So says the Slonimer, what the Holy One is actually commanding Moses to do is to extend the high light, the supreme light, because she'en lecha chosher gadol menu leMitzrayim, because this is the greatest darkness for the Egyptians. V'zeh amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe, and this is what the Holy One said to Moses: stretch your hand above the heavens, netei yadcha al hashamayim, shit'aleh v'yamshich me'al hashamayim ha'arot elionot. So again, this is a little bit like we talked about in a previous lesson. We talked about Abraham, that Hashem takes him above the stars, right? And this is Moses is very, very similar here. He's asking Moses, what does it mean, netei yadcha al hashamayim, specifically above the heavens or on the heavens, right? It should have said, stretch your hand towards the heavens, because Moses is on the ground, and raise your hand up towards the heavens. But the language doesn't say that. The language says stretch your hand above the heavens. So the commentary, the interpretation of that is, what does it mean? It means that Moses should rise above to that level, to the high level, and from above the heavens, from that place of holiness, of spiritual refinement, extend the supreme lights, specifically, right? And through that came the darkness upon Egypt.
They perceive that as darkness.
Yeah.
That's the answer to the original.
Right.
So this is a punishment.
He's not giving them darkness, he's actually giving them light.
Right.
That is the plague of darkness.
Right.
Right? לאלו השקועים בתאוות שאין לך חושך גדול עבורם מאור שלמעלה. Because the Mitzrim were the paradigm of base desires and coarse vibration, you could say. It's a lack of refinement or sensitivity, like you said. There's no greater darkness than to be confronted or be exposed to the higher light. But it says, but for all the people of Israel who lived in Egypt, there was light amongst their dwellings. Right? So to them, there was light. While the Egyptians, all of Egypt was in darkness, so guess what? In Goshen, where the Israelites lived, there was light. So for those who are already accustomed to that light, those were the Israelites, right? They had that connection. Why? He says, this is, I think, is an important piece. ותמיד מבקשים את האור הזה. Why were they accustomed to the light? Because they sought it out. They were the seekers of light. Mm-hmm. They were not content with the norm of the society they were in. Mm-hmm. And that goes into a whole different discussion about how, you could say that Yahadut forever, since the beginning, was always a subversive, in at least socially, a subversive kind of culture, because we Israelis, we were never satisfied with with the lowest common denominator or whatever the social norm was. Mm-hmm. We always sought something that was greater. So this is a paradigm for, even if I'm not there yet, I intuit that there's something. I intuit that there's a light, and I want to grow towards it. Right. So they had light in their moshvotam, because the Slonimer says Tamid mevakshim et ha'or hazeh.
Yeah, like a spiritual sixth sense, just to, even the Talmud says Alexander the Great came to visit, and the Greek wisdom and all this, and trying to turn the Yidden on to this, and the Jews like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool, but no, that's not, it's not really it. The Egyptians had their things going on there that were interesting. This occult,
the sciences and the whatever.
Yeah, whatever, magic and all kinds of interesting things. But the Jews were like, okay, but no, there's something more going on that this doesn't capture.
And they're always seeking this light. So for them, what Moses brought down from on high,
and what the Mitzrayim perceived as darkness, was for the Jew light.
Right. This wasn't the absence of darkness, but this was a great and renewing light. B'chol yom, yeah.
Maaseh
Bereshit. So every day the light is being renewed. That's a whole different topic. Right. We can do a whole lesson about that. ויש לומר, על פי מה דאמור בספרים הקדושים, על מאמר הכתוב, and we should say, as it's written in the holy books by our sages, על מאמר הכתוב, on the pasuk from Yeshayahu, from Isaiah, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, from Shachrit, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, שלכאורה, I'm sorry, I should say what it is, the creator of light and the creator of light and of darkness, but note the language, Yotzer Or, it's like the world of Yitzir, it's a little bit in the Kabbalah here,
right.
And Voreh Choshech, so it's the former of light and the creator of darkness.
Right. And Bri is a higher world, that's his question.
And Bri is a higher world, yes.
It's a higher world, so Bayreish, it should be flipped.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So that's his question.
Yeah, that's what he's going to ask. שלכאורה הוא מוקשה מאוד, דהרי בריאה היא מדרגה יותר גבוהה מיצירה. So this is a question. Why does Isaiah say that the creating darkness is actually comes from a higher place, from forming light? ומדוע נאמרה יצירה באור ובריאה בחושך? והביאור בזה, and the explanation of this, יש חושך שהוא בעצם אור גדול. There is a darkness which is really a great light. אלא שהאור כה גדול עד שמחשיך את העיניים שאין רואים מאומה. Like you said before, the light is so great that it blinds the eyes and you can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
כמו בעת שאדם מביט בשמש שחושכות עיניו. You said that before. Yeah. You're tuned in here to the Holy Slonimer.
Thank God. Got one right.
Yeah, exactly. You can't complain about that one.
No.
כמו בעת שאדם מביט בשמש שחושכות עיניו, ואינו יכול אחר כך לראות כלום, just like when a person looks into the sun, and then, after that, for a while, you can't see anything. כך, and by the way, kids don't try that at home.
Right.
It's not a good thing to do, to stare into the sun. כך יש בעולמות העליונים, but so it is in the spiritual worlds, in the higher worlds, שמאיר אור גדול מאוד, that there's a great light, and But for a person who's not prepared for that light, it just becomes darkness, and you can't see anything. And here you can see, it's a reference to the plague, where they're in this darkness where they can't see anything. When I in earlier years first read the Chumash about the Makat Choshech, I never understood what does it mean, this darkness. Especially when I was younger, my eyes were still better. You could walk around at night and your eyes adjust. You can see something, right? But they had this darkness that was nothing, and here explains it. It was nothing because they were blinded. The people of Israel who were inclined that way, they were practiced in that. They enjoyed that light. They were able to absorb it and delight in it. Delight, pun, boom, boom, boom. Nice pun there. This is in itself a very, very deep, very deep thing. I think it says in the Zohar that the lamp light in the physical experience is darkness in the spiritual realm, and darkness in the spiritual realm is light, in our realm. So things are not what they see. So what I take from this is things are not what they seem. They're just are what It depends on how we perceive it.
Right. And just to. This idea that the pasuk, it says over there that everybody was stuck in their place, and lo roi shesach, no one could see the other guy. So this, in other words, the spiritual darkness if I allow it to envelop me, and I'm stuck in my place, then I can't see the other guy's my brother.
Exactly.
In other words, then I'm like stuck in my thing, in my head.
Exactly.
And I become like there's this real mamashus of darkness in my world, and then the other guy's plight, the other person's vulnerability, just appears like darkness to me. He appears evil to me. He appears like the other. But really, and no one could see their brother. No one could see that the other person is my brother. Or sister, and that's the real darkness.
Exactly.
The sadness of it.
They said in this isolation, and this is again, as we are inclined to seek light and be drawn towards the light. So where is that light? We got to see that in one another.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's why I love, when the light shines on Rebelli next to me, I go, it's Gewalt, as you see the holy beard. So, but well said. This is obviously this is not just esoteric abstractions. This has to do with how we treat one another as human beings.
Yeah. Everything the Slonimer says, everything brought down, all the Chassidish Sfarim, all these things. There has to be a hayra l'maisa. There has to be a practical instruction. What can I take? What can I take from the learning? So I think maybe that's the practical. There's a lot of things you can take from this. That's one big thing. To recognize light, even where others might see darkness and be scared and be frightened of that otherness.
So this is such a beautiful, deep teaching about Makat Choshech, the ninth plague. I think it's, the plagues build up from, Dam Tzvardei Kinim. It's all like things in the natural world, and inconveniences and diseases and catastrophes. But here, it's not about our physical reality. It's really about an internal reality,
right?
And it's just so. It's almost, you can say, all of Yahadut in some ways is
right. So that ultimately the Mak of Cheshach presents unbelievable spiritual opportunities for growth if it's looked at the right way. Like what really was Cheshach? The Cheshach is like the biggest gift.
That's right.
Ultimately, because it's really or. It's really
yes. That's right.
Because
all I need to do is shift myself out of my isolation, out of my out of my constriction or limitness, the Mitzrayim in me. I just have to shift out of that Mitzrayim in me, and I mean, it's a lifetime work, but at least take that step in that direction.
Yeah, acknowledging that this problem exists is the first big step.
First big step. So I want to wrap it up here, Chaverim, Talmidim, and Reb Eli, with this. Maran HaGaon HaKadosh Rabbi Moshe Midner Zatzal, the holy Gaon, genius, Rabbi Moshe Midner. I haven't heard of him, by the way, but it's some teacher of the Slonimer that he appreciates. Is going to quote here. Amar ala pasuk. He said about the verse. L'chol bnei Yisrael haya or b'moshvotam. So it goes back to, and all the people of Israel had light in their dwellings, b'moshvotam. And here the emphasis is moshvotam, right? שיש מדרגה כזו של אור שהיחיד אינו יכול לזכות בה. There is a level of light that the individual person cannot attain as an individual. רק במושבותם, only in your dwellings, which is only in community, right? Only when, let me continue, כאשר יהודים יושבים יחדיו זוכים להמשיך את האור הזה. Only when Jews, when people are sitting together as one, then we merit to have that light extended to us. And this is chavursa, it's minyan, it's a whole, this is very, very, I think very, very crucial to the teaching of Torah, that it takes a village, it takes a minyan, it takes at least two. That's why, I like so much to sit alone and teach. I can do that, but to teach together, the way we create a bigger container, it's almost like our minds become bigger together, to receive Torah. והוסיף שזהו העניין שיהודים מתכנסים יושבים יחד בשבת קודש. And he says, this is why Jews come together on the Holy Sabbath. That's what the Shabbat is all about, to come together. להמשיך את האור הגדול על ידי במושבותם, to extend this great light through their congregating. So may we all be blessed with both with inclination towards light, with the people, the good community, the good chevra to work towards the light together, and with the achdut. What's the name of your congregation?
Achdut Israel. Nice, good plug. You got a beautiful plug in there. Thank you.
Achdut Israel, the
Pomona.
In Pomona.
Pomona Heights.
The Pomona Heights.
Come visit us.
They got it right. It's not, there's so many beautiful names of congregations where it's really about coming together, something that we can do together as Jews, that it's for us Jews to do. And we, like Reb Zalman says, let's get it together. Hey day 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 day. 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 Hey may 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 may. Hey day 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 day. So wishing you a good Shabbos, and we'll see you next Wednesday, every Wednesday morning. Shalom for now.